All right, moving on to 3.5, graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form. There will be multiple parts to this. Today we're just getting part 1. We already talked about slope dude for a little bit. Slope dude. So here's slope dude's ski course. What did he say going uphill? Puff, puff, positive. If I've got a line going uphill from left to right, the slope of it is a positive number. Okay. What did he say going downhill from left to right? Nice, negative. So if I've got a line on a graph going downhill from left to right, the slope of it's going to be a negative number. We've already learned horizontal lines from Hoy, but slope dude helped us out a little bit also. What's the slope of a horizontal line? What did he say on the flat part?
This is 0 fun.
This is 0 fun. Horizontal line has a slope of 0. And then what did he say going over the cliff? Undefined. We already learned that from Hoyvux. Slope of a vertical line is undefined. So, this will help us determine if we have a positive number, negative number, 0, or undefined as our slope. Okay? Any questions on slope dude? All right. Just another brief overview of slope dude. If the line rises from left to right, it's a positive slope. If the line falls from left to right, it's a negative slope. If the line is horizontal, slope of 0. Line is vertical, undefined slope. Okay? Yeah, I'm about to. That's just slope dude. It's essentially slope dude, okay? So let's talk about slope. You guys have hopefully heard of slope before. You guys have probably generally heard it as just rise over run, right? That's what it is. Slope is rise over run. The slope m, we use the variable m to represent slope of a non-vertical line passing through 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, is the ratio of the rise is my change in y, to the run. The run is my change in x. So I want you to write this whole equation down right here. Write it down. Write that whole equation down. Slope also equals m. We use m to represent slope. Slope is rise over run. You guys have heard that before. My rise is my change in y. My run is my change in x. So if I have rise over run, I also have my change in y over my change in x. And then the last part is our slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I want you to write that down individually as well. You're going to have to memorize this slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I want you to write slope formula next to it. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So they give you a little visual here with a graph. Gives us 2 points on our line, x1, y1, x2, y2. The rise is my change in y, so that's why it's y2 minus y1. And my run is my change in x, my x2 minus x1. If you notice, they drew a triangle between their 2 points, correct? The height of the triangle is my rise, width of the triangle is my run. That's a really easy way to find the slope from a graph. To draw a triangle, height of the triangle is rise, width of the triangle is run. Ask yourself what slope dude says on that line. What would he say on this line? Puff, puff, positive. It's going uphill from left to right. So whatever number I get from my rise over my run, I keep it positive. Okay? Any questions about slope on this slide? Do we all have the slope formula written down?
Yeah.
Like I said, you're going to have that memorized. You'll have to use that on the test. You're not going to be able to use notes on the test. So you got to have that memorized. Okay? Any questions on slope so far? Am I good to move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. Example 1. Describe the slope of each line, then find the slope. So it wants me to first describe the slope. I've got to decide if it's positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Okay? So hold on. Wait till I ask the question. So letter A. I've got a line going uphill from left to right. It rises from left to right. What does slope dude say on that line? Positive. So I would say my description would be positive slope. It's going to be a positive number, whatever number I get for my slope. Okay? Questions how I determine that? Yep. Do what?
Are you telling us positive again?
I can't hear you.
How are you telling us so it's positive again?
Slope dude, so remember we're looking at it from left to right. If it's going uphill from left to right, it's got a positive slope. Slope dude says puff puff positive, so I know it's a positive number. Okay? Now I need to actually find my slope. As you can see, the triangle is already drawn for you, right? Slope is rise over run. The height of my triangle is what? The what? Don't tell me the number, but is it the rise or the run?
Rise.
Rise, the width of the triangle is the run. So how tall is this triangle?
4.
4 units. They wrote it for you, right? That's my rise. How wide is my triangle?
6.
6 units. That's my run. We said it's positive, so I keep it positive. I do always want my fractions in simplest form. So what would 4 over 6 reduce down to? 2/3. There's my slope. Any questions on that? We good with that? So from every point on my line, if I rise 2, run 3, I should have another point on the line. So from this point, I go up 2, right 3. Is that another point on the line? Yep. Yes, it is. Up 2, run 3. Is that another point on the line? Yep, if I just keep doing that, it'll keep giving me ordered pairs that are on the line. Okay? Any questions about how we found our slope there? Okay? Letter B. It's going downhill from left to right. It's falling from left to right. What would slope dude say going down the hill? Nice negative. So here I have a negative slope. My slope is going to be a negative number. We good with that? Now, to find the slope, they've already drawn the triangle for us. Don't mind the negative on the 3. We're not going to call it -3 for right now. I'll tell you why they did that in a second. But how tall is my triangle? 3. That's my rise. Over, what's the width of the triangle? 2. That's my run. We said it was a negative slope, so I need to make it -3/2. Can -3/2 be simplified at all? No. There's my answer. Questions how I got that? Now they used a negative here for the height of the triangle because they're going down 3. I generally like to just write the height of the triangle, write the width of the triangle, and then ask myself what slope dude says on that line and make it positive or negative based on what he says. Okay? That makes sense for B. Any questions on how to find the slope from a line? So, once again, like I did over here, anytime I go down 3, right 2, I should get another point on my line. Down 3, right 2, is that another point?
Yeah.
Yep. Down 3, right 2, is that another point?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Everyone okay with that? Everyone understand what slope is? Slope of a line. Can I move on?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now it gives us tables of values. The points represented by each table lie on a line. How can you find the slope of each line from the table? What is the slope of each line? So can someone raise your hand and tell me, how am I going to find the slope of each line here?
We know it's positive.
How do you know that?
Because it's a negative one?
Not necessarily.
You choose 2 and 2.
And what do I do with those two ordered pairs?
You put them into y2 minus y1 and stuff.
Very good. You guys remember that slope formula that we had on the first slide? Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If I have at least 2 points on my line, I can use this slope formula to find the slope of the line. Okay? So do I have at least 2 points on my chart here?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I've got 4, don't I? How do I know which 2 to pick, though? How do I know which 2 points to pick?
The first two numbers?
Why do you pick the first 2 and not the last 2?
Because it's 1 and 2. Right?
Does it matter which 2 I pick?
No.
No, it does not matter. The slope's going to be the same because it's all the same line. All the points are on the same line. So it does not matter which 2 points I pick. I can pick 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 4. I can pick any combination of points that I want. I'm going to get the same slope either way. Okay? So the points are 1, 2, 3, 4. Which 2 do you guys want?
4, 14.
I heard 1.
14.
1, 2, 3, or 4.
Oh.
1 and 2. Let's use 1 and 2. We use the first 2 points right here. Okay? So, between those 2 points, what's my second y value listed? Because y2 just means my second y value.
So 14?
14. That's my y2. Okay? Bring your minus sign over from your slope formula. What's the first y value listed? 20. Over, what's the second x value listed? X value. Second one. 7. Bring your minus sign over from the formula. What's my first x value? 4. Everyone okay with how I plugged in to my slope formula? We're going to use this a lot, especially in the future, even into chapter 4. So make sure you have this memorized. Okay? So now I just have to simplify all this. What's 14 minus 20? Negative 6. 7 minus 4? 3. Simplifying it, negative 6 divided by 3 gives me negative 2. So here's my slope of letter A. You okay with that? Once again, I can pick any 2 points I want. If I picked any other 2 points, I'd get the same answer. Okay? Questions or confusion there? All right, can I erase and move to letter B? Yep.
If you did like for x 10 minus 4, that would have been 6. And then for y you did 20 minus 14, that would have been 6.
I've got to use the same 2 points throughout this whole process. I can't choose these 2 y values and these 2 x values. You know what I mean? I got to pick 2 points and stick with those 2 points for the x values and the y values. Does that make sense? As long as I do that, I'll get the same answer every time. Okay? Can I erase and move to B?
So for like B, would it be 0?
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay? Okay, let's move on to letter B. Letter B. Got negative 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 2. Raise your hand if you'd like to pick the 2 points for me. Say 1, 2, 3, or 4. Pick 2 of them.
4 and 3.
1 and 2 again? First 2? Does it matter which 2 I pick? No. Okay, of the 2 that I picked, what's the second y value listed? Y2.
2.
2. You must bring the minus sign from the formula over. What's my first y value listed between those 2 points? 2. Over, what's my second x value?
Negative 1.
1. Bring my minus sign over from the formula. What's my first x value listed? Negative 1. So even though my second x value is negative, I still have to account for that minus sign from the formula Two negatives right next to each other makes a positive. We okay with that? Okay. 2 minus 2 gives me
0.
0. 1 plus 1?
2.
2. What is 0 divided by 2?
0.
0. So my slope here is 0. Very good. What kind of a line is this?
Undefined.
If it has a slope of 0, horizontal, right? It's a horizontal line. Slope dude says this is 0 fun on this line, right?
Yeah.
Has a slope of 0. What would be the equation of this line?
M equals 0.
It's going to be y equals a number, right? What number does y equal here? What are all my y values? 2. Y equals 2. That's the equation of this line. Questions on B?
So like, do you have?
Equations would be y equals 2.
That'd be the equation of this line right here, yep.
Do you?
You don't have to write that. I was just asking that information.
Do you have to do the first two, or you can?
No,
Just pick,
you can pick any 2 points on that line you want.
and that would be the answer, even if.
You'll get the same answer every time.
Even if we do 8 and 2 on A, we'll get the same answer.
Yeah, if you use the last 2 points, 2 minus 8 is negative 6. 13 minus 10 is 3. Negative 6 divided by 2 is... So,
Okay.
say what? Nope. I could have picked 1 and 4 if I wanted to. 2 and 3, 2 and 4. I could pick any 2 points on the line I want. I'll get the same answer either way. Okay? So let's test it out on this last one. Can I erase B and move to C?
Yes.
Letter C. Okay, so you said you wanted to skip points, right? So you want to use 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 4. What do you want to use?
1 and 4.
1 and 3. I heard 1 and 3 first. Okay? So I'm using this point and this point right here. Okay? Of those 2 points, what's the second y value listed? 6. Minus. What's my first y value listed? Negative 3. Over. What's my second x value listed? Negative 3. Minus, what's the first x value listed? Negative 3. 2 negatives next to each other makes a positive. 6 plus 3. Negative 3 plus 3. 0. 9 divided by 0.
It's negative 2.
Undefined. I cannot divide a number by 0, so it's undefined. What kind of a line is this one? Vertical. What's the equation of this line?
X equals negative 3.
There you go. X equals negative 3. Everyone okay with that?
Where do you get the plus 3 from?
Down here?
2 negatives make a positive.
You're saying down here or up here? So, doing my y values up top. So my second y value minus from the formula my first y value, negative 3. If I have 2 negatives bumped up to each other like that, they create a positive. So that's why it turned to positive. Same thing down here. I brought my minus sign over from the formula. My first x value was negative. So I had subtracted a negative, which turns into a positive. Okay? Okay. Everyone good? Finding the slope from a table of values. Pick 2 ordered pairs from your table of values. Plug in to your slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You need to have that memorized. We're going to use that a lot. Okay? Questions on example 2? Can I move on? Huh? Okay. Okay, slope-intercept form. We've talked about it a little bit before. You also need to have this memorized. Slope-intercept form. A linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b is in slope-intercept form. You need to have that written down with slope-intercept form written next to it so you can memorize it. Y equals mx plus b is in slope-intercept form. The slope of the line is m. Remember, we use m to represent slope. And the y-intercept of the line is b. Slope-intercept form, it will always be the y-intercept, not the x-intercept. Okay? y equals mx plus b. Whenever it's in slope-intercept form, your slope will always be multiplied by x. Your y-intercept will always be the constant, the number without a variable. Okay? Down at the bottom, a linear equation written in the form y equals 0x plus b will just turn into y equals b. Because 0 times x is 0, it just goes away, right? I'd be left with y equals b. That's called a constant function. And the graph of that is a horizontal line. Okay? So my y-intercept would be 0, comma b, whatever my b value is. Any questions on slope-intercept form? You need to have that memorized as well. Y equals mx plus b. Are we good? Can I move on? Okay. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. What form of an equation do you think we probably want it in to easily identify the slope and the y-intercept?
Y equals mx plus b.
Which is called what? Slope-intercept form. I probably want it in slope-intercept form to easily identify the slope and the y-intercept. Because remember, slope-intercept form, if it's in that form, my slope will always be multiplied by x. My y-intercept will always be that number without a variable. Okay? So letter A, y equals 3x minus 4. Is that in slope-intercept form? Yes. So I can go ahead and identify slope and y-intercept. Okay, raise your hand if you can tell me what the slope is here. Raise your hand. Yeah.
3x.
Not 3x. What's the number being multiplied by x? Just 3, right? My slope is just 3. We don't include x as our slope. The slope's just being multiplied by x. Okay? I'm going to use b, because it's y equals mx plus b, to represent my y-intercept. Raise your hand if you can give me my y-intercept here. -4. It's my constant, my number without the variable. And I am now done with the problem.
That's all?
That's all I got to do on letter A. We okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Huh? Letter B, y equals 6.5. Is that in slope-intercept form?
No.
Are you sure? It is. How could I write it? Technically rewrite it being in slope-intercept form?
Y equals
Shh. I called on Aiden.
You can put plus 0.
Very good. I can put y equals 0x plus 6.5. And that's slope-intercept form, right?
Yep.
So raise your hand if you can give me my slope. Zero. And raise your hand if you can give me my b value, my y-intercept.
6.5.
6.5. I'm now done with the problem. Questions on B? We okay with that? All right. Letter C. -5x minus y equals -2. Is that in slope-intercept form?
Yes. No.
No, it is not. What form is that?
The other one.
The other one.
Constant. Wait. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right.
ax plus by equals c. Standard form. Right? That's standard form. So, can I identify the slope and the y-intercept right off the bat here?
No.
No, what do I need to probably do? Yeah, get y by itself, get it into slope-intercept form, right? So I'm solving for y, I'm trying to get y by itself. What would be my first step in doing that?
Y
Add 5x to both sides. I'm trying to move everything away from the y. What's left on my left-hand side now?
negative y.
Negative y. And minus sign makes the y negative, so it's got to stay for now. Are negative 2 and 5x like terms?
No.
No, so I can't combine them.
So it would be negative 2 plus 5x.
Negative 2 plus 5x. I'm going to write it as 5x minus 2. You can write it either way. But I like the x first because that's what slope-intercept form is, right? So 5x minus 2 is y now by itself.
Yes.
No.
Oh, shoot.
What's with it?
Oh, negative.
The negative. How do I get the negative away from the y if it's being multiplied by it? Divide by what? Not 5. Negative 1. If I divide by negative 1, that'll cancel out the negative. What gets divided by negative 1 on the right?
No, the 2.
All of it. Every term, right? Anytime I'm doing multiplication or division to both sides, every term on that side must be done, must get the operation done too. Okay? So y equals, it's not bad in this case, it's just changing each of my signs. So positive 5x turns into negative 5x. Negative 2 turns into positive 2. Is this now in slope-intercept form? Yes, it is. Now, I can go ahead and identify my slope and y-intercept. Raise your hand if you can give me my slope. M equals negative 5. Very good. Raise your hand if you can give me my y-intercept.
2.
2. I am now done with the problem. Questions on letter C? So if you get problems like this, it says find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. Easiest way to be able to do that is going to be putting it into slope-intercept form first. Make sure it's in slope-intercept form. Whatever number is being multiplied by x, that's your slope. Whatever number is your constant, your number without the variable, that's your y-intercept. Questions on example 3, A, B, or C? All right. We ready for the assignment?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I am because I don't want to do no more notes.
You too.
You get to pick up
Hmm?
Oh my. Oh, I thought it was something.
It's
Tomorrow.
Let's go.
No assignment today. That's what page number we're on. Numbers, we will get it tomorrow. Okay?
It's like
We get it tomorrow in class. Any questions about the notes before I end the recording?
no, tomorrow.